Okay, this is game 4 here, and this one um, is perhaps the most grueling of the match, for me especially. So, let's look at the board. First of all, there's wall. So, that are automatically something you have to keep into mind, right? You want to build, you want to balance your deck size with the capacity of the deck, right? So now on the board, what um, what can you do? So I see procession, but I don't really see how to use procession. I mean, not that I know how to use procession even remotely well, but doesn't seem like a procession board in my head. What it seems like is just some draw in council room and library, and you get some golds and go to town and buy your provinces. That's generally what I think about wall games. You just get treasures and buy provinces. That seems to be the best thing to do. You know, minimizes deck size and maximizes capacity. Engines just require too many parts and you get punished too heavily for it. So we both open with Catapult and Militia. My opponent attacks me right away with the Militia and picks up a farming village. Perfectly reasonable. I choose here to attack my opponent as opposed to getting rid of the estates. That's really the only reason I picked up the Catapult here, just to get rid of the... Oh, actually no, just to get rid of everything. Catapult is your source of trash, you know. Sorry. So that's why I went for the Catapult, to trash a little bit. The Militia also attacks my opponent, hopefully knocking him down from important price points. But he is doing well even through the attacks. He picked up a silver on his last turn, and I was able to pick up a farming village the turn prior, right? So I also have a farming village. I now want a scheme on my last turn, so that's going to be important for me for engine stability. Thinking a bit long term here, right? I'm thinking about village and library to stick back on top of my deck. That'll be excellent defense against potential militia attacks in the future. So my opponent does manage to come up with enough money for a library, and now I need to be a bit more careful or meticulous when I play my discard attacks. I would rather not play it when he has the library in hand. So again there, I give up playing the militia for trashing. I feel like trashing is going to be very important here, especially because wall just punishes you for having a fat deck. So here again I have a choice between attacking him with the discard attack or just clearing an estate out, and I choose just to clear the estate out because I feel like he has the library in hand. He picked up an embargo on one of his $2 hands, so I could have done the same there, but to quote Mixinock, it didn't move me. The embargo didn't move me. So he did have the library in hand, and he had to play it dead actually. It's still fine to play library dead actually here, especially if you get a little touch tonight. You could probably go through your entire deck. Unfortunately, finally here I'm able to pick up a library of my own. I do see it dead here, which is not the greatest thing in the world, but he is going to play his militia when I have it in hand. So classic, very classic base set interaction here. The library defense against the militia attack. So I'm going to skip all my action cards here up to a point, right? Up to where I have to take cards just so that I don't trigger the shuffle. So I am going to keep now this farming village even though it does nothing, and well, the militia too. 4 gets me up to another farming village, so I'm looking okay here, especially if I could start to find my scheme. That'd be excellent. Again here he has to play the library dead and I didn't attack him, so it doesn't get to go through as much of his deck. However, he still has enough to pick up a farming village. So again, here I have the choice between playing the library again. Probably would have got me to another farming village, but I choose for the thinning. Absolutely choose for the thinning here. I am prioritizing it quite highly in this game. Because, well, one catapult is slow. Okay, so you need to try to play that as often as possible to get to that deck size, or to get to that reliability point that you want to get to. And also, man, wall just I don't know, wall just weighs on my mind. You know, it just weighs on my mind sometimes. So I try to play around it. Here I go for another, not another, I go for a silver as opposed to a scheme. I think I have two schemes already. And I want the silver to try to hit 5 because I find that I'm not hitting 5 often enough, or even 4 to pick up farming villages. Farming villages are extremely important here, especially given that my opponent placed his embargo token down on the procession. Farming village is your reliable source of plus action, and you can't do anything here without plus action. So another good turn for my opponent, picking up the council room, and he looks to be in good shape at this point. He has both a library and a council room. He doesn't have any schemes, so that's going to affect his reliability, and he hasn't trashed as much as I have. So we'll see how things work out from here. So at this point, I sort of see that I also need a council room for the plus buy. Trash the estate here because I've already attacked him with the militia. I was really tempted to pick up a farming village here because, look, the play on his turn is to play that council room, pick up 2 farming villages, and just deny me villages, right? Because I only have 2 right now. He has the rest. He has 5. I have 2. But I go for the council room. Like, if he makes the play of picking up 2 more farming villages, he can't get 3, right? He doesn't have 3 buys even. So, take the council room now. Maybe I could get farming village library or something. I expect to have $8 or $9 on my turn. So here he does have his entire deck in his hand at this point, and he does actually have money for the double farming village, but he doesn't go for it. And I think he should have gone for it just to snuff me out of the game. If he only lets me have 3 villages, there's only so much I could do, right? I'm using 1 for library, 1 action for library, 1 for council room, and then 1 for militia maybe. Right now the militia is particularly unattractive given how reliable his deck is now, right? He'll be able to see that library quite easily, especially after I draw him a card with the council room. And yeah, he'll get the increased draw of his library every time I play the militia, so it's not a particularly attractive card right now. Early on it might have hindered him a little bit, but right now it actually probably helps him a lot more. Here I have to play it though because I want the money to pick up a pair of farming villages. If he's given me the opportunity to get 2, I'll take 2 pal tanks. So a couple of farming villages for me here. Now I am going to stick my farming village and library back on top of my deck. So now I'm looking nice and reliable. I should be able to kick off decently well every turn from here on out. So especially if he attacks me with the militia here. So I don't want more than 2 schemes really. Maybe a third one is okay, but just the 2 is fine because he's gonna be playing militia, right? If I top deck 5 good things, I'll have to discard 2 good things and cry. But anyway, my opponent, he also picked up a gold at some point and now has enough money for province and farming village. So, like in my mind's eye, this is how this game is gonna go, right? I am a little bit behind, maybe a turn or 2 behind. I do have money in my deck for province, so I could follow him on province, but he has a little bit more money than me, and at the end, if we go province, 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 he'll, you know, do province estate, and then I can't do anything about that. So, the point is, I can't follow him on provinces immediately, so what do I do then? Well, I have to attack him. I don't have a choice, right? He's going to win if I follow him on this path of just picking up green cards, so I have to try to attack him, and that is what these catapults are for. So I am not going to go after the provinces following my opponent. I think I have to attack him to come back in the game, though I'm not really sure how much my attacks can do at this stage. He is fairly well set up. He also has a scheme now, so things are not looking too hot. I do pick up a gold just to have some buying power. I will be thinning things from my hand, coppers and whatnot, and I still do need money to buy things, even if it costs me a victory point. because of the wall. So another province for my opponent, and he's top decking his library, right? So pretty good card for him to top deck. He has a lot more villages than I do, so he'll probably see one in his starting hand. So here at this point, I get rid of the militia. You ain't doing anything for me. And well, this is what I want to do with my catapult, right? It's not about making him discard, especially given that he top decks his library. It's about putting purple cards into his deck. That's what it's about, and that is what prompts me to pitch this silver too. It allows me to put 2 junk cards into his deck. If I had just put 1, then he could use his catapult to trash it. If I put 2, I overwhelm his catapult and leave a curse in his deck for the next turn. So that's the play here. So 1 catapult for me, and you know what? Another catapult. It'll make it very difficult for him to trash things now, given that I have the lion's share of the catapult. So that also reveals the rocks pile, which is something that I wanted as well. Obviously, rocks is the natural thing to catapult across to your opponent. You get lots of ammunition from the rocks. So that's what I'm going to do for this half of the game. Really here, just relentlessly fling things at this man and hope it works. Because the other variation is losing. If I just go after provinces, that is losing. He's still up to the province mark here, despite being well, he's just received the curses, but despite the reduced hand size and the attacks, he's still up to province, and even in subsequent turns he gets up to province. So here he goes for a scheme and a doctor overpay. He gets rid of 1 curse, really. I'm not sure about this doctor though. Like, there's no way for him to discard to reliably get curse out of his deck with the doctor. I mean, he could guess sometimes and have an idea, but there's no reliable way to do that, I feel. So here I'm able to draw the full amount with the library. I have to catapult a copper across to do so, but whatever. I know he's top decking the library, but I don't know. I have to do what I have to do, right? I have to get my draw going to put junk into his deck. So playing the console room here just for the plus buy, really. I'm going to fling a catapult at him just to put a purple card in, and here I trash one of my coppers. The wall is starting to affect me now, and also it's starting to affect him, right? Every time I put a purple in his deck, 2 points go down, not just 1. So that is something to just keep in mind here. Now 8 and 2 buys is going to be a pair of rocks. So I do have to keep the deck size in mind too, right? Because rocks makes you gain silver. So each rocks buy here actually costs me a couple of victory points, but no worries. No worries. The rocks aren't going to stay in the deck for long. That's for the opposite side of the table. Just fling it relentlessly at this man. What the rocks also allows me to do is, when I trash it, I gain a silver, right? So I have 1 silver from the rocks buy on my previous turn, and then I'll have 2 more silvers when I trash the rocks. So hopefully at that point, with my console room in play, I can maybe sneak up to double province, pick up 2 of those there. That'd be nice to do, right? With all the extra cash that I have in my hand. And then I'd proceed to get rid of the silvers and whatnot from my deck. But getting up to double province would be nice, right? There's no other victory cards on the board. Like, I need to buy provinces at some point to catch him on points. Like, if he just buys province a turn from here on out, I lose, right? Regardless of how many things I throw at him. Or at his deck anyway. So another province for my opponent. Now both the schemes for him come up. He's reliable too, farming village library on top of the deck. Real good for him. He is still attacking me with the militia, so that makes my library happy. Maybe he should get rid of that militia. Seeing that I stick the library on top of the deck, I'm not sure. It does help him to draw more with his library if he plays it prior, but I don't know. So here now, look, this is what Donald intended. This is what he wanted when he designed. I don't know if he designed it, but when this card was designed, or this pair of cards, this is what he wanted. Players to fling rocks at other players. So I have fulfilled your wishes, Mr. Donald X. Anyway, I check here. I don't have 16. I have 15, so I'm sad. I am sad. So I just get rid of a silver since I have 15 anyway. You know, just get rid of the silver. Put more junk in his deck. So he got 3 curses that turn, which is nice. And I'm gonna go for province and a duchy. Yeah, I have to pick up duchies to get points now. Oh well. So now I'm starting to approach my greening phase, right? And the points are kind of comparable. 5 versus 6 right now. That's not too bad. I mean, a lot depends on how well his doctor behaves. If his doctor chops 3 curses out the deck, that's real good for him. That's as good as buying a province. As is, he's only able to get 1 there, so good news for me. Also good news for me is that he's not drawing through his entire deck. So maybe in the near future we could see a stall turn. A really bad hand to have hit with the militia there, but it happens sometimes. Another province for my opponent, and he's gonna pass it over to me again. I believe the top deck here is farming village and library. Yeah, farming village and library. So the scheme's really shining here, just making things so much more reliable. Here I am gonna fling my gold at him. Maybe that's premature. Maybe I still wanted to keep the gold for some buying power, but it did help my library draw there, and I wasn't sure if I could draw everything given that I put 2 stop cards in my deck in province and duchy, so I wanted to make sure I maximize the draw. Here I fling another curse at him and I save enough money to pick up a province of my own, so now I'm actually in the lead. I didn't expect all this catapult shenanigans to go this well for me, but I'm in the lead right now. And there's 2 provinces left. His deck is full of curses. I'm entertaining some chances at this point. Didn't think I would get this far, but there you go. Here he names copper instead of curse with his doctor, which I found quite strange. And he doesn't make it all the way up to province here. He has to be content with a duchy. So that's good news for me. I'm happy to see that. Very, very happy to see that. Maybe the doctor was a misclick, I don't know. But he didn't get rid of creases from his deck, so that I'm happy about. Now here, I'm in a position where I don't have money to do things, so I need to buy back money, which is unfortunate. You should be keeping track of your deck better than that. I fling a catapult at him just to junk him because I'm running out of things to throw at my opponent's deck. The copper is going to make him discard there, and I save enough money to pick up a gold, which allows me to threaten a province buy. That's the most I could do at this point. I just threatened to pick up a single province. That farming village was excellent, skipping a bunch of crap off the top of his deck. And here I thought I would see a library, but nothing happens there. He doesn't buy anything is what I mean. Of course, buying things for us now costs a victory point. Provinces are with 5, not 6. Thank you, wall. So here I'm able to see everything, and I think I have to take this chance to go ahead and pick up the province. He did stick a couple farming villages back on top of the deck there with his schemes, but I think I have to take the chance here. If his doctor behaves nicely, he can win by trashing curses and picking up the last province, but it requires his doctor to do some good work for him, and it doesn't. So that looks really good for me. Him playing militia looks even better for me. I just need to find all my money and the single catapult left in my deck, because even buying province for him doesn't do it. Unfortunately, I am going to see all of those things. So I was able to come back into this game after a vicious assault on my opponent. That I imagine that has to be frustrating for him to play against, but I had to do it. So that's how this game ends. Tremendous uphill climb for me here, but it feels nice to make it sometimes. Alright, thanks for watching and see you.